Stop talking because the show's live now, even after tech issues that haven't plagued us last week. God, my hair's awful. Unbelievable stuff. Okay, welcome to week 12 of the rundown. Penultimate regular season week is in the books. So this week we're going to be talking about the playoffs, obviously the previews and the reviews, but most importantly the playoffs. But just to switch up the order of the show, we are joined by Director of Football for the Exeter Demons, Lydon Ward-Best. And I feel like it's safe to say congratulations as an opening sort of conversation.
Yeah, thanks. I was saying a minute ago, we've been so caught up.
I'm so laggy. That's
so caught up on the last finishing these couple of games that we didn't actually realise that we'd run the conference till yesterday. So so that was a nice surprise when we realised everything at the end of the day.
Tech issues are big today.
And now Tabs is frozen. So
I don't know where he's going next.
What for just setup we've got here?
Shall we just? Okay. Well, I guess Tabs is gone. No, is he gone? Brilliant. Oh well. So Lydon, I guess I'll take over this.
Yeah.
So I suppose tell us about what your role is. Double. That's an interesting.
So I'm not the head coach, which a lot of people mistakenly think I am. But because we have more than one team at the Demons, we have an under-19s team as well. We also do a lot of community stuff and things like that as well. So my role kind of overarches all those teams, and it's mainly just logistics, and it's just having one person. So every year you get a new committee and they don't know what they're doing, and there's no handover and that sort of thing. So there's no consistency. So by having that same person there every year to make them go, actually, don't make this mistake. Last year's committee made this mistake. Just gives you that consistency to go along, and you're just not wasting time on stuff that you've made mistakes on before. So the idea is you kind of get a bit better every year.
So I suppose how does that, I guess, fit in with SU? Because obviously SUs are normally very, very mad about students leaving everything. So how did they feel, I guess, when you guys first proposed this to them?
I mean, it was more like a forgiveness over permission type situation. We just kind of did it. But we have a really good relationship with our AU, and they've known me for being there a long time, and so they just kind of accept it, and it makes their life easier because they're not having to deal with stuff because I will answer all the questions they need to answer, sort of thing. So yeah, it makes their life easier. So they're really supportive. So it's good. But I mean, admittedly, it has taken like 7 years or whatever, just getting a little bit more every year, kind of thing. So.
Right then, Tibbs, you're back on. Tibbs, are you there?
These freeze frames are great, by the way.
Chris? Are you with us? Is he aware?
I don't know.
That
was just a sex offender phone call there.
This could be the most ridiculous start to a show there's ever been.
So yeah, Lydon, I suppose.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the team this year, what do you think about things this year? I mean, Exeter, and I've said it over the couple of years on the show, they've always been that team that I've always said I will mark on my calendar as a playoff team from day one. What do you think's different this year? Because from the outside looking in, it feels like you've finally got that team. It's finally all coming together.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's luck, if I'm entirely honest. We generally, step one every year is try and make playoffs. I think we're 5 years running playoffs now. But it's always just been like getting over that hump. There's always been someone in our conference like Cardiff or SGS or someone that has always been that kind of better team. And we've been quite lucky where we are to normally have a really good group of coaches. And it's been a case of, well, we've got those really good coaches, we've got a really good setup and everything like that, but we've not maybe necessarily had the athletes. And just this year, through a bit of luck, really, we've just ended up with a really good roster of people. that much as some people might think, I seem to have heard some nice rumours about that we're paying players and got scholarships and anything like that. We don't. We don't have anything like that at all. We've just been lucky. A couple of guys came back and did the masters, and it's just all worked out nicely at the same time. So, yeah.
Well, on that paying players stuff, obviously you're not paying players, but talk to us about the free speed flex thing that happened at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
what did that come about? What was that all about?
Only 2 people took that up.
Really?
Yeah. So, well, we had, we always end up with quite a bit of money at the end of the year. We have quite a lot of sponsors, like we're sponsored by Domino's and things like that as well. So we run it like a business. Like, we want to make a lot of money at the end of the day. And our uni has said, well, you can't entice people with financial incentives, but you can get equipment. So we're like, oh, cool. Well, we'll just use equipment as the incentive. So that was that, really. But yeah, only 2 people actually took me up on it. So
is that as to keep, or is it like a loan thing?
I didn't actually specify. So we'll see on those 2 people at the end of the year. But planned as if we will give it away. But yeah, I'm expecting much more take up on that.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know. The tech issues have been fine the last 3 weeks, but this week, no, any of it. So moved to the palatial living room.
It was somewhat.
I'm not worried about it. So I've got no clue what's been asked.
Esther filled in very nicely for you.
Yes, of course.
Right. Yeah. So I've asked Lydon who he is, how he thinks Exeter have gone on this year, basically. Yeah. And then Jamie, as always, is interested in the money side of things. Yeah. So he's asked them how they get speed flexes. And that's it. That's where we're at.
Perfect. At least now I'm caught up. So obviously in terms of Exeter, like me and SJ have sort of got Exeter representing the South, going all the way through the playoffs. But with the sort of expansion of the National League, in brackets National League, what do you think the future looks like for Exeter? Do you think it's going to be a case of thriving in the Premiership, or is it going to be, sorry to drop Loughborough in this, but just sort of more of a slow build? Because I could sort of see similarities somewhat between Loughborough and Exeter.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of people graduating at the end of the year, but we would kind of build to try and make it sustainable. You want to keep that, and we've had, as we've kind of seen, we have that pretty stable, consistent level of performance every year. And I think all that's going to mean is just that the conferences are a bit more competitive, because I'd probably wager that some of the Div 1 teams are better than some of the bottom Prem teams at the moment. So I don't think there's a lot in that pool. So I just think you just won't have any shit teams in your conference, basically. Unless there's obviously some massive change, like you get where there's a complete sort of downfall, i.e., Swansea or something. But
single tier.
But yeah, so
definitely one of the more highly touted parts of the Exeter Demons' entire team was the O-line. So sort of multifaceted. Like, how important do you think the O-line is, especially a good O-line in the Uniball level, where majoritively you have to, coach people from nothing into, something that could change the game, and just, I was going to say, shout the boys out as well.
I mean, I'm biased being an O-line coach myself.
Yeah, so yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been very lucky that all the guys that we've got, all the starters we've got are all people that have been through the Demons of coach. So it's really easy because they all know the language, the technique, and everything like that. So they're all working on the same page. They can work together really nicely because they don't know any different, really. But it just has worked out very well that all 5 of my starters are either in or on the bubble of the GB men's team, and either playing GFL or Prem level football. I say it's just pure luck. But just having those 5 together at the same time is great, because we're averaging 8 yards to carry and sometimes I don't even need to pass the ball, which is great. So yeah, so it just means that you can just don't need to worry about that side of things, so you can just work on other things, and just want to keep that train going, keep more people coming in. Almost want it to be the go-to place for O-line to get better and progress and get to those extra levels and in the game, sort of thing.
And then, like, how important is it having that sort of, not only veteran present, but like elite veteran presence for a position that, people will find themselves in? Because
I say I got to come back to luck again, because I've got two guys that they've only been playing football a year, but they went straight into All Stars GB under-19s, starting for the Aztecs within a year. So they just naturally, apparently Froome in Somerset is like a genetic hotspot of where you pick up offensive linemen. But yeah, it's just I've just been really lucky to have people that listen and pick it up really quickly. And like some of the stuff I teach is a little bit different, but it works. And so yeah, it's just they just bought in, which is great. So.
And sort of going, sort of more to the senior ball side of things, like how important has I'm not sure if you'd call it a link with the Aztecs, but how important has it been to sort of being able to sort of scout people and understand where their strengths, their pros and cons are, and having them come to Exeter as well? I'm not saying that you brought them to Exeter, but I'm sure it didn't.
It's been the other way. So we had Demons guys go to Aztecs over the summer and then come back again. So it just kind of sped up their development a little bit. So take James Bush, for example, was really good anyway. But
Steve's favourite player, by the way.
Exactly. Just having that summer of playing senior ball and training against better players and playing against better players, he's come back even better again as a wide receiver. Whereas before he'd been a bit more sort of tight end, gadgety, not sure what to do with him. But as a pure sort of wide receiver, I think that's massively helped him over the summer. I think the Shea, who's our running back, that's got the most amount of yards at the moment. So he's on 14 yards carry, I think. And that was his kind of intro to playing running back, was over the summer. He was a DB previously, but was just rapidly fast. So it just meant we could get up to speed, have almost like an extra preseason by him coming to Aztecs training. So it's just and then obviously the idea is that people that want to play at that higher level can then do that in the summer and vice versa.
Then, if you've looked at the last two seasons of Exeter when it comes to the postseason, very much travelling. The exits have been relatively quick. Do you think that there's any chance of?
So we were in the South final 2 years ago. That's not that quick. Last year, I'll give you, but yeah.
Yeah,
I might have had my year
final 2 years ago.
Where am I getting? Because you didn't lose to Holloway last year, did you? Or
no, 2 years ago we picked on them.
I don't know why I've got it in my head that travelled to Holloway.
No, we travelled to Hearts last year and they beat us.
I've no idea where I'm getting this Holloway thing from then.
No, never lost to Holloway.
Don't worry, my question's out. Someone ask someone else.
But on the travelling side of things,
yes.
It would be lovely to actually get everyone to come here for a change, because it sucks going halfway across the country all the time. So, yes, my dream is to have UEA come to Exeter, just so that they can relive the pain we had in 2019. So,
I mean, I've done all my questions. I was happy just talking about O-line and development.
I mean, I could talk about that for the whole time, but you guys are probably people who get bored.
And SJ's
had enough already. He's gone.
And SJ's departed. But with that, just congratulations. Do you think that me and SJ have been not unfair, but maybe a bit too confident in Exeter? Because we really have pushed, both me and him, all of our chips in on Exeter for the South.
I mean, we've got 2 more games next week, so we've got 2 games in 3 days.
Of course you do, yeah.
Yeah. So anything can happen in this division. You've seen some of the scores that have come up. We're just trying to hope that doesn't happen. And then playoffs is anyone's game. It just can take the wrong, turn up on the wrong day, and something go wrong or injuries or whatever. You just don't know. So it's just trying to control as much as you can control and go into those and hopefully come out with what you want.
So is there any other team that potentially not even in the southwest one that you've looked at and went, that's surprising, or that could be a spicy matchup looking forward? Obviously, you don't have to answer that if that's a bit too.
No, it's fine.
Helpful.
So I mean, I've got to say massive thank you to Kent for beating UEA. So that was really helpful. Thank you.
Got that one as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, Hearts are always going to be dangerous. Brunel, depending what mood they're in, could be dangerous.
Come on, we got to shout out. Come on.
Yeah. Kent as well. I think the first game with UEA was real close, and then obviously they turned it on the second one. If they didn't have that walkover, obviously they'd be higher in the playoffs. So yeah, it's always hard to know in different conferences what the standard's like. I think the Bobcats will surprise people in the playoffs as well. Even though they're sort of coming second. So yeah, no, I think it's anyone's game.
What about, so obviously I very much doubt you're paying much attention to the North, but if you're looking forward to the future, who in the North would you think that you might see in the final if you get there?
I mean,
conversations, but
NTU and Leeds stand out a little bit. But again, you just don't know what the standard's like in other conferences. Sometimes the other conferences tend to be a little bit more sort of pass happy and less physical. We found in the playoffs, so find out. Yeah, that's a little ways down the line yet.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what is the journey to Loughborough going to be like in a few weeks' time? But I won't. But unless SJ and Jamie have got anything, I will know that you've got quite a busy night, an important night.
Yeah,
so
it's the wife's birthday, so I had to jump on here and beg for forgiveness, and then I need to go. Yes,
which is why I'm happy to let you go unless Jamie or SJ have got anything.
No, just good to see Lydon. Hopefully.
No, but honestly, thank you very much for coming on. We've wanted to have a talk about Exeter because we've basically gassed them up all season. Maybe next year we'll start getting on the teams that we rag on. So Coventry Jets, come on the show. But thank you very much, Lydon. But I will let you depart so you don't get shouted at potentially any more than.
Cheers, fellas. I look forward to watching the rest of it when I get back.
Cool. Thank you very much, Lydon.
Cheers, Lydon.
Cheers, Lydon.
I love this thing. Also, can we talk about this? What is this thing? Why does it?
Right. Okay. People in the chat, can you see when SJ does a thumb up? It has a little thing.
Does it? What?
Do you get it? I don't get it.
What other things do you reckon it could do down? Oh my God! I'm telling you, this is how I'm doing my picks now. This is how I'm doing my picks.
So, are the majority of Bucks teams playing 2 games next week? There's a fair few. We'll get into it when we do the previews later on in the show, but there are a fair few happening on Wednesday. Is SJ?
That's what it is. I am on a Mac. What else can I do, Ian? What else can I do?
What else can I do?
I was going to say, don't middle finger it, but
Wave. Go on, wave. See if it does a wave.
Do a wave.
Does it? No. No, Ian, please do some research.
Different emoji faces.
Really sad. It'll got a really sad face.
So, but definitely thank you for coming on. It's interesting to talk, especially a team that's on the rise with Exeter. But he's very much right. 2 games this week.
I did have balloons earlier.
Did you?
On SAG earlier, I had balloons just pop out of nowhere, and I look so confused. I had nobody just.
The rundown discovers technology, mate. We're on one. Okay, so but we'll get into, because it's been a spicy week. There was a few upset victories, couple of divisions clinched. And before anyone asks why it's Sport Tank doing the Champions Post, because I want to be 100% sure that the teams have won. It's as simple as that, because I don't know, someone could do a walkover this week and ruin it all. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Nottingham Green are going to walk over to the League of Colonials, but it could happen. So, but I'll put to this: they're all prepped and ready. Even the teams that have you done that?
No.
Okay. So, gonna go down the week 12 results, pick out some ones that are spicy, but all in all, we just give me a second. My computer's full. No, I don't need help. No. Jeez Louise. Okay. Starting out, week 12 in the Prem. SGS Pride beat the Birmingham Lions 20-0. Durham Saints beat Loughborough 24-0. Portsmouth fall to the UE Bullets 56-0. In a surprise, which we definitely will talk about, or surprise to me anyway, Leeds Beckett lose to Nottingham Gold at home 8-9. Moving on to Division 1, the Edinburgh Mavericks aren't able to capitalise on their momentum from Stirling. Fall to the Glasgow Uni Tigers 21-8. Hull Sharks lose to the Manchester Tyrants 28-12. Leeds shut out Liverpool 24-0. Exeter beat Southampton 61-6. Sheffield Hallam get their win back against Warwick 20-19. Edinburgh Napier Knights smashed the Aberdeen Bulls 52-8. Brunel beat Oxford 17-13. Very nice. We'll also talk about people who are going down. Speaking of you, Coventry University Jets, their fate is very much sealed now with a loss to Leicester 27-13. UEA lose to Kent 18-0. That's an interesting one. Bit shaky. Thank God I got it. Royal Holloway Bears are heading to Div 2 after losing to Reading 20-0. Bath Killer Bees lose to Bournemouth 14-20. And in another fixture that happened on Wednesday, the Warwick Wolves beat the Leicester Longhorns 36-0 in D2. I've got them all the wrong way around. Nottingham beat Cambridge 27-3. Edge Hill Vikings, again, Edge Hill. I do apologise that I messed up the graphic. And to you as well, Glenn, that we all picked Keele. We didn't. We all picked Edge Hill. 13-6. The Aberystwyth Taranai beat UE Bullets 45-0. Gloucestershire Gladiators beat Swansea Titans 28-0. Swansea Titans beat Gloucestershire Gladiators 28-0. We're not going to talk about that. ARU Siege fall to the Lincoln Colonials 14-0. Sheffield Sabres 26. York St John Jaguars 0. Sunderland Spartans 3. Bradford Bears 8. Imperial Immortals 14. Greenwich Mariners 6. And setting up the Sport Tank live stream game of the week for this week, pivotal Southwest 2 matchup. Winner goes up. 2 undefeated teams as Sussex beat Oxford 6-0. Oh, some spicy games here, but let's start at the top. Leeds, Beckett, Nottingham Gold.
Very windy.
Very, very windy game. Obviously, Buck Sport covered that one because it's a great game. You know, the streak of the home team winning has now snapped, but only by a point. Do you think that this win and a now undefeated season, which Nottingham, didn't have last season, or the season before that, do you think that changes anything looking into the playoffs and potentially the final?
Is it up the inevitable third time? See any? I think with the North, the only way you can make the final is by finishing top, because any other position means that you have to face off against UE. And respectfully, I don't think, from what I've seen from Carnegie so far this year, I think they're a good side, but that Bullets train is just ridiculous this year. This is probably the best Bullets team out of the last three. So
okay, but then do you think over maybe the last 2 weeks, the score lines from Nottingham haven't been sort of as bombastic as they were in the previous 2 years? Do you think that will affect the playoffs? Do you think that there's a chance that we won't get the three-peat, the three match?
I think a lot of them have just become more defensively solid, and they've all become harder to play against. And I don't think it's that they're not as good. I think as a division, they've all got better defensively. Yes, I think offensively they might not be as good as they once were, but I think they've all just sort of solidified themselves and they're not leaking points. Whereas in previous years, a couple of the teams have dropped points where they might not have wanted to. So it's a harder division to play in now, I think.
Because obviously we were speaking about Durham last week. They've had a run of quite successful scorelines. No, not coming out with a win. impressive against people like Beckett and Nottingham Gold. They're going to be making the playoffs. And obviously, if we remember the game with SGS last year, where it was very, very close. Do you think there's a chance of an upset at all? I'm talking top to bottom. Even if looking at, I know Leeds, Beckett, and UE last year. Obviously, like the team's different for UE this year, completely different gravy. But do you think there's a chance of a playoff upset in the Prem? Obviously, there's
Durham is the only one I can think of. And even then, I think Durham are a lot better than they were last year. I don't really know on SGS. I don't know if they're any better, if they're any worse. It's so challenging to tell in that division because every game is just a blowout.
It's going to be interesting as well because obviously it's Battle of Bristol 4 this week. So it'd be interesting to see how that comes about, whether or not that scoreline can really tell us anything. Realistically, for the rest of the games in the Prem last week, nothing too surprising. Realistically, like the big one this week, obviously, I know you got Battle of Bristol, but Bullets will win that. But it's Cardiff versus Birmingham, which we will get into for a relegation spot. Obviously, looking at Div 1, I think Glasgow being Edinburgh, that's a big one, especially considering that Edinburgh Stirling game going Edinburgh's way. Glasgow now setting themselves up to be the team in the Scottish one. And it's nice to have a bit of consistency in the Scottish one where we haven't really seen it, especially when Glasgow look to be finishing out their schedule against the Aberdeen Bulls.
I wasn't really surprised by the Maverick score because everyone's like, oh well, yeah, they've been winning games, but they haven't been putting points on teams. They've not been scoring loads at all.
Arguably, you could say that about Glasgow as well.
Yeah, but I think Glasgow, from previous experience, obviously I can't speak about this year. I've not seen anything, but Glasgow felt harder to play against. Yeah. Even though they might not have been as exciting, they're very much, they just will run at you all day, whereas Edinburgh will try and pass and they'll try and do different things, and it felt easier to play against them. So I really wasn't surprised by that, and it's just a bit boring. Who cares about the Scottish division anymore?
Well, don't get me wrong. Also, I've decided that, I'm just not going to care as much in the last few weeks. I'm just going to say what I think. I don't think anyone from the Scottish div's really going to do much in the playoffs. I think it's been too chaotic and there's not been enough, traction for them to really get anything going. Especially
the only way they do is if they end up getting a home tie and it ends up messing with things. If the seedings make someone go to them, and then
don't get me wrong, I think someone will go to them, but like in the north,
the winner will get a bye. The winner will get a home. Whoever tops that division will get a home round.
Yeah, and it is a hard trip to make, no matter where you are. It's a long way.
Because it very well could be, if we look at someone like the second place teams, third place teams, like people like Warwick or even Leeds at this point could be, and I'm not sure how much I'd back Warwick over Glasgow, but I think it'd be a very, very tight game. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing a representative of the Scottish one in Loughborough on the 19th of March. Hull Sharks, Manchester Tyrants. Are Hull safe?
Apparently it's all on points, but they'd need an absolute capitulation against Leeds and Raptors to win, or Raptors or something. From what I don't know, I'm not fully certain, but from what I've been told, it's along the lines of as long as they don't get absolutely whitewashed against Leeds, that they're pretty much safe.
So they've took a walkover, and they're still going to stay up.
I tell you what, if Hull Sharks manage to do this, because ladies and gentlemen, obviously Sport Tank Awards coming at the end of the season. We're not going to do them at the regular season. This year we'll do them at the end of the season. I mean, comeback of the year. If they stay up, Fair enough. I
Actually,
know I've got the old thingy on. Hold on.
I'm going to shit all over that right now. Two teams go down in that division, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because of that walkover, Hull will go down over Liverpool. So that walkover is what's killed them. So basically, to stay up, it would mean Hull will have to beat Leeds to stay up. So I'm sorry, Hull. I've probably
Don't worry then.
ruined your whole
Hey,
season.
you know, and it's still in your hands. You know,
Just beat Leeds.
yeah, just beat Leeds.
Super Bowl Sunday against the Old Rifles. Like, who knows?
Playoff picture for me. Yes, well, we will get into that. Don't worry.
Please,
No.
please,
Okay.
don't maybe try.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say something. Our playoff prediction, our playoff picture, right? It's just what we think. It's not what's happening. Okay. So I've had people tell me that Tonye sometimes gets emailed saying Sport Tank have said this. No, just
Please
let
don't
us
email
talk.
Tonye about anything.
Please don't email Tonye, please, because we're just guessing and what we'd like to see. Also, Sam, sorry about saying Aberystwyth 45. It was Aberystwyth 46 against the Bullets. Pedantic Aberystwyth. Fuck's sake. I hope. Oh, fuck this. I hope you fucking lose to Swansea. Fuck this. Nah, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Just stop. Everyone on Swansea was nice. I know that Aberystwyth are all right as well, but no.
It's really upset you, hasn't it? He's corrected your score.
Aberystwyth are not going up. For God's sake. I'm sick of it. Oh, and the South East 2 is the worst fucking division in football. Fuck's sake. I'm sick of it now.
We could talk about that division.
We'll talk about it later. Can't wait for that Instagram DM to come through. Coventry are down, which I think is good. I think that gives that team a good reset point. You know, I know that it may seem very negative to say that, but I think it's a good one. Tebs, I thought we moved on from the issues. No, deep-seated hatred. No, that is quite funny. But yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good move for Coventry. You know, you have to reset. Obviously, Nottingham Green look to be the ones moving up into that bracket. Hallam getting their win back against Warwick. I think that's a surprise just because of the scoreline last time, 40-0. But Hallam, you know, it wasn't looking great for Hallam, you know, beating Coventry and beating Leicester and falling to Warwick and NTU. But, you know, it looks like Hallam are going to probably get back into the playoffs. I don't know how well they'll do because the season's been quite up and down. But, you know, I think if you're looking at like the who's had, you know, their Uniball cycle sort of end, I think it's easy to say that Hallam have, you know, sort of timed out on theirs and they're looking to rebuild. But good for them. Brunel have won. They've set up the big game for the Southern 1 next week against Hearts at Brunel. So if you're there,
no, it's at Hearts. But I'm not getting into the details. Yeah, I thought so too.
Okay.
But, I'm not getting into details of that.
Okay, fine.
It's what it is, isn't it?
Leave it alone. QMBL. Okay, someone explain to me this QMBL situation.
Right. Okay. So Queen Mary are potentially going to stay up in the most ridiculous fashion of all time. So they've won a game and they've drawn a game and they've scored 0 points in those 2 games. How have they done that, you may ask? Well, one game's a walkover and one game's a 0-0 draw. And because an Essex game got cancelled before Christmas, there is 0 room to reschedule said game, which basically means if Essex do not beat UEA this week, Essex will go down. So, Queen Mary, fantastic. Great.
Honestly, imagine the Seeds. You stay up without scoring a point. Sensational. That's Uniball all over. They might get the Sunderland award that we debuted last year for just whatever. And yes, Sam, I will apologise on stream if you beat Swansea.
I suppose.
Won't beat Swansea. Brilliant. Anyway, I say that just because I think I'm just bitter because of what happened at the weekend, but we're not going to talk about it. So because it's my show. Div 2, obviously Nottingham are 5-0. Very much looks like that division's theirs. Getting, because that's one of my predictions. They've still got Lincoln at the weekend, as I stated earlier. But the only thing riding on that game was an undefeated season, and I'm fairly certain that both Nottingham squads would like to go undefeated into the playoffs. But yeah, I think it sets a good precedent for these seconds teams to be able to actually do something like this. So again, fair enough to not screen.
Unlike the Pellets.
Yes, I like the Pellets who we'll get onto as
if they end up not winning another game. What do you think the chances are that they change them back to being the Pellets because they don't want them to be referred to as the Bullets?
they never were the Pellets, right?
They never were the
Well,
Pellets.
they should be.
It was just a meme to a point where even Baffa put it on their thing as the Pellets.
I'll put it like this: if you look at the Wikipedia, I know it's Wikipedia. You look at the Wikipedia for Uniball teams, they're the Pellets.
No, they'll always be the Pellets.
Like that. That's how deep that ran. But no, they were never the Pellets. But speaking of the Pellets, they 46-0 to Aberystwyth. Obviously Gloucestershire falling 28-0 against Swansea. Sets up the Battle of Wales that had a bit tumultuous energy going on. No. So the Battle of Wales has now got a bit more, a lot more enthusiasm behind it. If you looked at the rankings last week, I still think that Aberystwyth's biggest advantage is I think Aberystwyth's biggest advantage is they're playing at home. Should have been like Swansea don't have a home pitch. They're playing in Aberystwyth, but that game is for the Southwest One. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm sure you can gather I'm having Swansea. But yeah, I think it's going to be, again, if you could survive the bus journey to Aberystwyth, you're there. Realistically, in Div 2, not too much going on. Imperial look to have had the division for a while. They have got a good game against UCL coming up this week, which is going to be a good game. But I think Imperial will be the team to go back up. But sort of the big one here, Sussex go undefeated into their game with Brighton, who are also undefeated. And thank God, because I tell you what, I am going to watch that Sport Town game. Sussex-Brighton, winner goes up. Also, I spoke to one of the Swansea Titans coaches. He's the one that designed the Sussex Saxons kit, which I like and no one else likes. So there you go. Nice little fun fact here. We're going to quickly jump into the playoffs. SJ, put your head in your hands.
I've just got the regs open right now trying to figure this out.
Regs.
Because what Bloom's is asking me to do isn't as simple as just looking at things. You've got to try and work it out based on. So the Midlands Tier 2 will play 6 games, whereas the Northern A will play 5 games. So
but then you look at that though, like if it was a bit more close in the Northern A, then no, I guess not at the top if you're looking at the second and third place squads. Yeah, okay.
I'm still right. Okay.
Okay, so fairly certain that we'll start at Div 2, Northern to 2B's Northumbria, isn't it? I believe.
Right, I've got it. I've worked it out. Right, to determine the seedings, you need to work out. You take their results against the top 3 in each division.
Okay.
I think whether leagues are involved yet. A mini league table consisting of the relevant teams' results against the top 3 teams of their respective league will be created for comparison.
So how I think it'll work in the 2B, as long as I've got it right. If it's not 2B and 2A, I'm fairly certain 2A is Lancaster and 2B is Northumbria. So
Yeah.
Northumbria, I believe, are going to have the one seed. Well, they're winning their division. That's done. And then I think because York beat Sheffield.
Hang on a minute. This man's asked me for the playoff things, and he's telling me he's worked it out already. Oh, he's wasting. Oh, mate. He's done
Right,
it just to see. Oh.
Okay, well, it's
coach.
fine. Okay, but yeah, so
Coach.
UClan
Right,
and
man.
Lancaster. Yeah, chill. Yeah, Northumbria, York,
Can we get like a little
potentially
whiteboard up on
Sheffield.
the screen? Can we
No,
enter the whiteboard.
I can. What I can do is I can add it to a thing. If you give me a second.
Right, Div 2 North. All I'm going to say is it doesn't matter who else is who else is there. It's going to be Northumbria versus UClan in the final.
Yeah,
No one else comes close, so it doesn't really matter anyone else competing. They're wasting their own time.
But can it be I think what we're trying to work out here is, can it be a UClan versus Northumbria final?
Well, yeah, because they'll be the two top seeds, surely.
We
They'll
got
be
to
1 and 2.
You got to look at the Green, because Green haven't lost a game either.
Oh, I do forget about them. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and also we are saying this. This is sorry, Sam. This is if UClan beat Lancaster. Obviously, that game's still got to get played, but we all think UClan's going to win.
Honestly, I've not got the brain power after looking at these things all day anyway.
No, it's fine. I'm just going to guess it. Lancaster, York, Derby. Who else? Sheffield or Edge Hill? Probably Edge Hill.
Mm,
What you need to do is you need to work out the points against per game against the team, the top 4. Oh, mate.
Okay, well, we're just guessing. We're guessing here. We've said this. We don't have to be technical. We're not actually doing it. We're just who we think is going to be there. Northumbria, UClan, Notts Green, Lancaster, York, Derby, Sheffield. Be happy with Sheffield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. Well done.
But then but is it Edge Hill or is it Lincoln? Probably Edge Hill, I think.
Sheffield beat York. So
Did they? I thought it was the other way around.
So Sheffield will probably be will go in between 4 and 6.
Yes, that's my fault. I had that the wrong way around.
We can work out roughly where you're going to be in terms of. Basically,
Yes.
guys, we should have done our research before we came on today, but alas.
No, we want the drama. So, I'm still a team shy. Edge Hill, I think. Let's go with Edge Hill over.
Can we
Lincoln.
start in the Prem because it's easier?
Okay.
Right, nice and easy. It's going to be Nottingham versus Portsmouth.
Okay.
And then we're going to go Bullets against Loughborough.
Yep.
And then it's Beckett, Cardiff. Cardiff have somehow got 3rd in their division.
Okay.
SGS against Durham. And then that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's everyone. Yeah.
There you go. There's the Prem. There's the Prem. Okay. Div 1 North.
Same thing. It's a guessing game.
NTU.
yeah,
Manchester.
NTU, Manchester, Leeds.
No, NTU Manchester. Glasgow.
Leeds.
No, it was Leeds, not
okay.
Glasgow. Glasgow have lost
Leeds.
drop points.
Okay. Leeds, Glasgow.
Yeah.
Warwick. Edinburgh.
This is just so stupid at this point.
Edinburgh.
Did LJMU somehow sneak in?
I guess, if you want. Stirling.
Yeah.
And LJMU. There you go. There's the North. There's the North Div 1. So Div 1 South. Exeter.
This is the easiest one to do outside of the Prem. I can give you a rundown right now. It is Exeter, then it'll be UEA, barring a massive upset from Essex. And then number 3 will go to either Brunel or Hearts. That's still to be determined. Number 4 is probably going to be Bournemouth. 5 will be Kent. 6 will be Oxford. 7 is either Hearts or Brunel. And then 8 is, I think, KCL somehow squeak in potentially at 3, 4, and 1.
I tell you what, if you're KCL and you've got playoffs in this year, fair enough to you. I need to give you an apology, KCL Regents, if you do, of course. Edge Hill have only lost 2 games and we'll get a walkover this weekend. You'd assume NTU would beat Nottingham. Okay, so it would be Edge Hill over Lincoln. Okay, so North Div 2. Okay, Lancaster, UCLan, Northumbria, Green, Sheffield, Lancaster, Derby.
This used to be a lot easier when we had graphics.
Yeah. York, Edge Hill. Bang. There you go. It's done. Okay, South.
This is where it gets ridiculous.
This is South Div 2. This is a guess. Don't message Tonye. Okay.
Southeast is the problem.
Okay, so this is where it gets interesting, because if Sussex shut out Brighton, because Sussex have shut out everyone else, Sussex shut out Brighton, Sussex are the 1 seed. But if they win but concede more than 19, they're the 2. Sorry, Sam, I think Swansea are going to win. So let's say Swansea, Sussex, Imperial, Aberystwyth, Brighton, UCL.
No, I don't know if UCL actually get in.
You sure?
Because I don't know, because it's such a mess of a division in terms of how many games have been played.
This is all a guess. This is all speculatory. UCL, they're in. Don't worry about it. Then
no, they get you right. They actually will be the big.
Yeah. Then 7 and 8. I'm gonna say it's either City or Solent. I'm gonna go City, and then Gloucestershire. That's how it looks in my mind. All right. Don't message Tonye. We're gonna move on. There's a plus. Next week we'll have this all for you. Or will we? No, we won't.
No.
We'll have more of an.
What we'll do is this time next week we'll do this all over again.
Yes, but we'll have I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, next week we'll have a better picture. Okay, so again, do not, whatever you do, email Tonye at all about anything. We're going to move on to the last week. Does games played affect the Northern 2 seeding? Almost certainly, probably. It depends what you mean in terms of games played. Because if it's like, for example, a UCLan situation in which they've had, a couple of walkover wins, no, not really. As long as they beat Lancaster, but if your team has given a few walkovers, but then let's say you've won the rest of your games, then the Bucks point seeding is just not going to work out. So it completely depends. Last week of regular season football. We have a few games happening on Wednesday as well, because that's the last day that it can be put in. But I tell you what, I hope you two are ready, because this is going to be quite a long one. I'm happy to do, just put it out there now. If your dinner's on the stove, I'd go and get it. As in 2A having less games.
No, so as I explained, it basically goes down to every league basically goes to 4 teams. So only your results against the 3 top teams will actually count towards the final. That's what it says on Bucks Regs, but like I said, I've not got the brain power right now to sit there and crunch all the numbers.
See, and that's why next week, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be here, because we will.
Next week we'll have done our homework.
There'll be numbers, and they will be crunched. Absolutely delicious numbers. Okay, so starting off in the Prem.
Yes, they do. Yes, Booms is right. They do count.
Huh?
He said his results against Edge Hill and Lancaster count.
Yeah.
But will he want it to count depending on how the result goes on Sunday?
That's another great game. We'll go through Some of the games we'll take some out and talk about the ones that have got implications. But I'm not going to do a full readout because it's quite long. So we're just going to go straight into predictions. Battle of Bristol 4, UE versus SGS. What are we thinking? UE, do you want to score this one?
I'm incredibly disappointed with UE this season.
Why?
I've really got my hopes. They haven't even hit 100. Never mind 150, and it's not happening now. They're in too deep. What I do know is that they will continue to punch it in across the line.
12 points.
I'm going to say 46.
46, SJ.
Depends on who they've got. Like, have they got their QB back, or have they got the backup back? I don't know. But again, 40-0.
Interesting. Gonna close that. Durham Saints versus Leeds Beckett Carnegie.
See, I'm waiting to see what's said here because I'm going a bit wild here because me pulling out some outrageous picks has gone quite well for me recently.
Do you know what? Where is it at? Where's it at again? Is that
I think it's at Leeds.
I think he is at Leeds.
You know what? I'm going to go Durham.
Oh.
I'm going Durham. I'm going Durham on the basis that they had 10 drops that could have all led to touchdowns this weekend. And I think that this weekend is going to weekend that it's going to finally click.
Right, well, just to save the sanctity of the show, I'm going to pick Beckett. Durham also have another game happening, I believe, on the Wednesday against Newcastle.
So this is why I think they'll be Carnegie, because they can go to they could probably go to Newcastle with the lacrosse team and win rather than the actual American football team.
Yeah. Double header in Bristol, UE. Oh, that's a good game.
What do you mean double header in Bristol?
No, so it's UE. So it's Bullets versus Pride, and then Demons versus Barracuda.
No, I get that, but for that to happen, that would mean Exeter playing in Bristol, would it not? Or is Nathan's geography gone completely out the window? Can Nathan clarify?
I guess Bristol are just playing on the UE service.
Oh no, sorry, I got confused there. Just put Exeter Demons for Exeter.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay. Durham. Gold versus Loughborough.
Gold.
So this is the big one. Cardiff versus Portsmouth in Cardiff.
Cardiff.
For the banter that ensues afterwards, Cardiff.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a banter pick for me as well. Going to pick Cardiff. Moving on to Div 1. Edinburgh versus Napier. Mavericks.
I'm saying Napier.
Awful pick. Absolutely wank. Wanky pick. Waste of a pick.
I can't wait for Napier to win now, because if Napier win, I'm flipping this up.
For some reason, Napier's got a problem with me, and I don't know what it is.
Napier's got a problem with everyone, Ted.
I've been nothing but complimentary in Napier over the last few years. Let's say if Coventry Jets came on here and said, "Chris, you fat fuck, stop slagging off our team," then I would have to be like, "Yeah, that's fair enough. I have just been slagging off your team for like the past 2 years." But Napier, I've been quite complimentary in Napier. So,
but Napier don't like anyone that isn't part of Napier. Like we should all know.
I've forgotten when they fucking squeaked one out against Lincoln in my first year. Fucking
to be fair, like Edinburgh and Napier last time was quite close.
Okay, well, what are you picking then?
I think Edinburgh will still just edge it.
Edge? Oh, interesting. Didn't know that was a strategy. Glasgow versus Aberdeen.
Glasgow.
Glasgow. Harriet Watt versus Sterling.
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 Imagine
I
not
don't-
winning a game. That's embarrassing.
No, but genuinely, has it? It's not even a nice way of saying it. Has there ever been a fall off quite like Harriet Watts after the season?
Essex.
No, that's different. Because they got that title on the fact that one team didn't play all their games.
Here's the thing: I'm not willing to count Harriet Watt out for next season, just because I
I thought you
like
were going to say
Harriet
this
Watt.
season.
Teb's not feeling the love. No, not today. Like we've only got like maybe like 5 or 6 shows left, and I've not really. And to be fair,
Just
this
getting
year I've been
depressed.
quite good. I've been, I've kept everything calm, tried to be diplomatic. Fuck it. It's much funnier when people don't like. If I walk around, Edinburgh at night, someone could, hit me over the head with a Rawlings impulse. But so whatever. Sterling, Tyrants, MMU Eagles. We haven't really spoke about MMU. I know our Connor, bless up. MMU, not a great season. They managed to scrape by last year, but not. We've been so focused on Hull that we've not really spoken about MMU.
We've completely forgotten. It feels really bad. We've kind of forgotten they exist.
We have, because we've been talking about Hull and LJMU and Liverpool. They're both good, but MMU, sorry. But Manchester versus Eagles, or Tyrants Eagles, sorry.
Tyrants.
Yeah.
By quite a lot as well.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna,
imagine so.
like Mercy Rule half-time type vibes.
Leeds versus Hull. Gonna have to go with Leeds, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Leeds. Liverpool versus Liverpool John Moores.
Oh, no, that is a grudge match. LJMU. And I'm hoping they've got actual referees this year, so a scrap might commence.
LJMU.
Big scrap. The final send-off. Everyone, turn your lights off. Put your lighters in the air for a battle of the West Midlands, as both of these games take place in Coventry, because that's where Warwick play their games. Coventry versus Warwick.
Warwick.
Yeah. Imagine if Cov win that. I'd crease. All that does is ruin Warwick's playoff chances. Well, not playoff chances, but ruins it a bit. Leicester versus NTU. NTU.
Yeah.
Just don't have to ask anyone. Just put that down. Southampton versus Bournemouth. I think after last week, you can't really, pile it onto Southampton too much. 61-6 against Exeter. So
Bournemouth.
Bristol versus Exeter.
Exeter,
and I believe that will also exit the Barracuda from Division 1 as well.
How long have they been there? A couple of years.
They've been there. They've been there a hot minute. I'll tell you that. But it's just this year.
3 or 4 years. No, 3. When did they come
apart from Bath, I still don't really understand Bath drawing to Bristol.
Where is the Hearts versus Brunel game being played? Micah, you're on the Hearts coaching staff. Is that no? Sorry, is that Hertfordshire?
Not a good week for us. Oxford versus Holloway. They drew last time. So
Oxford.
I would say a draw, but you won't put it on the graphics, so I'm going to go Oxford.
I will if I write it down.
No, I want Oxford.
Yeah, the thing is with Oxford, right? Oxford are a much better team than I think results actually said.
Yeah, 100%.
We said they're like an iffy team, but they've got the talent.
No,
but
they're
just getting unlucky.
I think I like the word I described was sketchy, but not like sketchy in like they're fraudulent.
Sorry, Micah. He's working.
Just sketchy in terms of like they're difficult, because like they and fair enough, they deserve a playoff spot, but it's been a bit of a you haven't really put all your chips in Oxford, say like an NTU where you could see it partway through the season. You just put all your chips in on them. You never really could put your chips all in on Oxford, but I think they do beat it this week. Essex versus UEA.
Did you completely forget Hearts and
Oh
Brunel?
no, because I'm going to do it last because that game has got stakes, and then we can talk about it.
Oh, cool. I like that. I like talking about my own team.
Fucking hell. UEA Essex.
I really want to say Essex, but I've just not got to do it.
I've worked out how to get
UEA.
fireworks coming up. What?
Oh, the balloons are here.
SJ, you picking this one? The balloons have crashed his computer. What a madness. That's so good. I'm going to give him UEA. You see what happened? I said I want to talk about Brunel versus Hearts, and his computer's frozen.
Oh no!
There we go. He's back.
What did I
Kent
miss?
versus KCL versus QMBL.
KCL.
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 Match.
So then the last one, the one with all of the marbles, Hertfordshire versus Brunel. Both teams have had an up and down season, both 5-2. But this one's for the division. Obviously, now we know it's taking place in Hearts.
Brunel.
It's a very difficult one. It's okay. No, I guess it's not a difficult one. No, fuck myself.
It's
cool.
It's probably, if I'm taking from personal experience and my time with Brunel, this is probably the game I've been most excited about. And it's nothing to do with who we're playing. It's more to do with the stakes that are at stake on it. Like both teams, like I said, about up and down seasons, and then the opportunity the winner takes all, basically. But I think the difference is that neither of us can finish second in that division. On this, basically. So you either go from being the number 3 seed to dropping all the way to 7. Really, there's actually there's quite a lot of money at stake because one of those teams is probably going all the way to either Kent or Norwich.
Yeah,
financially.
who could survive? Who has the most money? Who?
Hearts. We got nothing left.
Got nothing left. What are the rankings for the teams? It'll be out this week. So the Prem one you can sort of gather. I might not even bother doing a Prem one this week because it's difficult to talk about the Prem. Just because it's a bit samey. Like I might as well just do a full-length article on why Cardiff versus Portsmouth is game of the week. But Div 1 and Div 2 definitely. And it'll be out later this week. Hopefully earlier than Friday. So yeah. So moving on to not moving on to Div 2. There's still some Div 1 games that we've got to do that are the rescheduled ones happening on Valentine's Day. So you love to see it. Edinburgh Napier versus Stirling.
Sterling.
And Hallam versus NTU 2.
NTU.
NTU, but in a really close game.
I'm not going to put that. Bath Killer Bees versus Exeter.
Exeter.
Yeah. And I think that's all of them. All of the extra games, unless I'm forgetting one. But this is off Bucks play as well, so please don't shout at me. Div 2, moving on to Gloucestershire versus Bath Spa Bulldogs.
Gloucestershire.
Not much play for in that one. Nottingham Green versus Lincoln.
Green.
Derby Braves versus DMU. Derby all over the shop. One of the bigger ones, or one of the biggest ones. UClan versus Lancaster. Both teams undefeated. But obviously, UClan have had a couple of walkovers, but it's still very much. I think Lancaster have had one, mainly due to Banger.
UClan by not even close.
Do you really think it will be that bad?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You as well. So you really think it will? Do you think UClan are going to smash Lancaster? I think they'll beat them, but I don't know if they'll smash them.
I think outside of UClan, the rest of the division is absolutely piss poor. So
That is true. Yeah.
So Lancaster being decent makes them look far, far better because they're playing against absolute dog water.
Okay, fine. Yep. You know what? I understand that and I accept it. Yeah. Fair enough. The battle for the Southwest 2 and the battle for Wales, Taranai Aberystwyth versus the Swansea Titans.
Swansea straight back up.
I'm saying Taranai just because I feel like they're going to have your pants down, Tebs.
It's not normally I would say to like a team like Aberystwyth, you know, if I do mess it up and you do win, I'll come and stream a game. And you can shout at me then. I'm not driving to Aberystwyth. I'd rather do the drive to Imperial again. For the Bournemouth one. In the Sport Tank live stream game this week, Sussex versus Brighton. This is a tough one. I might go last on this one, so think about this one. We'll come back round to it. Imperial versus UCL. You don't have to pick this one.
UCL.
Oh, all right.
Imperial.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. Bit strange there. Plymouth Blitz versus Worcester Royals. Plymouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't put yours on there. Okay. Wait, did someone pick Worcester? Or am I being thick?
What?
No.
Okay, sorry. I'm only half listening. York St John versus York. York
Centurions have had a bit of a disappointing season.
They have, haven't
speaking,
they?
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
They have like if you look at we'll get into the next week when we look at our way too earlys and see where there was a couple of Yorks on there. Not a season covered in glory for the Centurions. But I do think they'll beat York St John. Bradford versus Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Yeah.
Sheffield.
Yep, 100%. Staffordshire versus Kiel.
Staffs.
Kiel.
I think I'm going to go Kiel as well, you know.
Kiel.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kiel. And last but by no means least, the Sport Tank live stream game of the week, Brighton versus Sussex. I'm going to go first. Sussex.
It's hard to not look at the Sussex defense, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. That's
what's swaying it for me. I think Sussex is a good team. Yeah, Sussex.
There's only two teams that haven't conceded a point this year, and it's Bullets and it's Sussex.
I want a 0-0 draw.
Who wins between Sussex and the Bullets then?
Probably. What day is it being played on?
Sussex 2-0.
What day is it being played on?
What day?
Yeah.
A Sunday.
Oh.
What's the day matter?
What about where's it being played? What day and the weather?
It's being played on a swamp in Sussex.
Swamp raining in Sussex on a Sunday. Yeah. There's so many S's there. It's got to be Sussex Saxons. Use your head. Who are we picking?
I'm going for a 0-0 draw. Can you put that on the graphics, please?
Jesus Christ.
Stop
No.
it.
No.
We don't do ties. If the game ties, we all win.
This is a farce. Who's it between?
Sussex and Brighton.
I'll have Brighton.
Okay. SJ. Yeah, all right. Calm down. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is week 12. One more week of regular season football left for you. A lot of spicy games left to play. Next week we'll have a bit more of a clearer picture of the playoffs, but not crystal clear. So bear with us, but we'll have a better idea. We're going to go through our way too earlys that me, SJ, and Dylan did, so we can get Dylan on to expose some of these freezing cold takes. But thank you for bearing with us. Thank you to Leiden for coming on. Bit of a strange episode where just lost my rag and I don't care anymore. So if I've given your team grief, message me on Instagram so I can block you. Yeah, just like Jamie is on the Sport Tank Facebook.
No, have you not seen my message? I sent a message during the stream. It's come up on my Facebook. So I don't know what's happened. I don't know whether Steve's got in contact with the Qatari embassy or something, but it's no longer blocked in Qatar.
There you go, listen. Sport Tank no longer blocked in Qatar. Key.
Wild.
We've opened up a whole new market for Uniball. Qatar. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. Probably we'll work out the time, probably about 6:30. Where we'll talk about this week and then we'll look at some playoffs. Actually, no, we won't. No, we won't. Not on Monday, we won't. No Monday stream next week. Don't stream the day after the Super Bowl. I don't do that. I'll never do that. So we'll come at you next week. We'll pick a day. But it probably works out better because there are games being played on Wednesday. But keep your eye on the socials and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Good luck, everyone, to who's playing this week as well. Bye. Not you, Dylan. Never you.